Hey, what's up, everybody? Episode number 43 of the Clint Cronin Show. Today I've got Eric Medina from the LA Jiu Jitsu Club. He's a Jean Jacques Machado brown belt, all-around great guy. I'm in Long Beach right now, coming off of the IBJJF 2017 World Championships. It's the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation World Championships for this year. It was over at the Pyramid at CSU Long Beach. Awesome event. I was there for the last day, so you had basically all of the male and female adult competitors in the quarter, semi, and final matches to determine in their weight classes the world champion for this year. The absolute, so the open weight class stuff, I believe that was done the previous day or the day before that. So it was a pretty amazing crowd later in the day. It started off a little bit slow. There weren't as many people there for the first few quarterfinal matches, but as it heated up closer to the finals, because you got to realize this is an all-day event, it definitely picked up. Special props go out to the Checkmat team. If you saw them in the crowd, if you're following me on social media, maybe I'll stick some videos up on YouTube or clips, but they had these noisemakers, and they were chanting. They had a huge turnout, so it was pretty cool to see them supporting their guys. Marcus Buchecha Almeida, obviously world champion again for I don't know how many consecutive or total years now. I want to say he's probably a 7-time world champion. He's a Hall of Famer already in the IBJJF. So, and just an all-around great guy to talk to meet. I've had the pleasure of spending time with him. There's a few seminars. Actually, we had to go to the same rules seminar for the IBJJF. So for your black belts out there, aspiring black belts, when you get your certificate from the IBJJF, it's a whole process to get that. But one of the requirements is you have to sit through this rules training course. So Buchecha was good sport. He had to sit through it as well. So it was, I think, 4 hours or something like that. It was so I've been to a few of the seminars, and we have some mutual friends. A buddy of mine owns one of the Checkmat affiliates, so just a really nice guy. I'm gonna go I think over to the Checkmat HQ on Tuesday and get some training in. Luis Panza and Buchecha will be there. I don't think Buchecha's back training yet, but Panza, he's got some of the best ankle locks in the world. It's just violent. It's an amazing thing. So I'm definitely going to go by and check those guys out on Tuesday. About to drop by and see Eric now. We're going to record a little bit. So I'm recording this intro a little bit ahead of the podcast itself. Just overall results for the IBJJF Worlds, obviously, Alianza and Atos, in terms of teams, they took the top 2 spots. So Atos with 105, Andre Galvao, obviously, captaining that effort, and he brought home the win as well. Alianza for females, for the women. So Alliance, they were the top spot, with Checkmat coming in number 2. Alliance was second place in adult male in terms of teams. But overall it was an amazing event. I'm going through right now. It was crazy to see Leandro Lowe actually coming in second, right? Just to see how that played out. And then you had Buchecha and Lowe going in the open class on, I believe it was Saturday, which was an amazing matchup as well. Trying to go back through here. Yeah, so Nick Muragelli from Alliance. I was actually sitting over by the Alliance guys while his match was going on with Leandro Lowe. I was so tired being there from 9 a.m. So my eyes are barely open, but it was a very competitive match. So seeing first-year black belt Nick Muragelli from Alliance actually get the win over Leandro Lowe, it was a very hard-fought match. Back and forth, and it was the sweep at the end that was able to close it out for Nick. So congratulations. God, what a great first year as a black belt, world champion against Leandro Lowe. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And otherwise, in the lightweight division, you have Lucas Lepri. Let's see. And Caio Terra and the Malfacini, the Bruno Malfacini from Alliance against Caio Terra in the Roosterweight division. some controversy there. Kaio came in second, but I mean, he's a 10-time world champion. These guys go back and forth quite a bit, so Kaio's got the better of him a few times. So it's just, it's how it goes. Sometimes with the hammer, sometimes with the nail. And Kaio is an amazing competitor, and he's one of the staples of Bay Area Jiu-Jitsu. So I would have loved to see him get the win. I like him and his team. I have a lot of friends over there, and Kaio's a great guy. I love his brother Kim. So I spoke to Kim Terra for a little bit yesterday. So we've been planning to do something for a while. So I should have him on the next couple of weeks or so. Let's see what else. Pro wrestling. We've been talking about pro wrestling a lot lately. When I have a guest related on to wrestling and stuff like that, we'll talk about it. Like, I was a wrestling fan as a kid, and I did a lot of the pro wrestling training. I worked a lot of the shows and stuff like that, kind of behind the scenes, and doing security and stuff like that. And so I've gone through pro wrestling training. So to me, it's a subject that's near and dear to the heart. It's a guilty pleasure. We all know it's not real. It's like a really brutal improv, right? So. I'll cover pro wrestling sometimes, but generally it's if we have a guest on or something that's, related to the industry or a big fan, but otherwise, like for example, I was on the MMA Dude Bro podcast, which is a really great show. They've got all kinds of really awesome guests on there. I'm like, right there in the mix with like Chael Sonnen and stuff like that. So glad to be amongst good company on that show. It's a really quality broadcast on iTunes and all the other places that podcasts can be found. So I'm supposed to be on the next episode of that, so be on the lookout. It was like a 2-hour interview with me. So it's MMA Dude Bro podcast, and I also do the comic book stuff. I will break into it for a little bit. Wonder Woman was amazing. I saw this as a great opportunity for DC to stand out and to be sort of the torchbearer and sort of fight the good fight and be the one that really pushes the female hero that across. And because Marvel just doesn't have the strong female characters. I mean, you have Black Widow, and but usually it's like a Lois Lane type, right? So the Gwen Stacy or the whatever. So to see that DC has a strong female representation, having Wonder Woman coming out, and not just being like a good movie, but being a better movie than the recent Batman or Superman, and obviously Batman v Superman movie. So having a strong female hero really lead the way for the DC extended universe, or DC film cinematic universe, whatever the hell we're calling it. It's really great. It was a fun movie. It had that Indiana Jones thing to it. It was World War I, so it's a timepiece. I don't know how you would say that really. I got to leave the movie review stuff to Aaron over at Geek Kwando Nerd Kwando podcast. Aaron Ryan, he's on. So if you didn't listen to that episode, it was a little bit long. So if you have a long commute, it's like 2 hours or something like that. Definitely check it out so you can listen to us ramble on about comic book related stuff. I won't bore you too much with it, except to say that Wonder Woman's an awesome movie. The girls win this one. I liked it a lot better than the last couple comic book movies. Certainly better than the Batman v Superman movie. Absolutely better than Suicide Squad. Logan was a different animal altogether. Logan's a tremendous movie. So it's really hard for me to rate art because it's subjective, and it's down to like what kind of mood are you in. When people ask me what my favorite food is, I'm like, I'm not 6 years old, so I'm not sure. I also don't know what my favorite color is. It's because you wouldn't have one without the other. You wouldn't have red without blue. You wouldn't have fucking pink without that weird light blue color, or black without white. Should have said that one. Anyway, I'm not fucking 6 years old, so I don't know the favorite food or color, and that's fine. And I don't have a favorite superhero movie, but I will say that both Logan and Wonder Woman were great films, totally different films, but this year I like those. I also like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Sometimes laughing's fun. I want to laugh. I want to be entertained. I don't have to be bummed out in the movies. I know a lot of people are into the independent films where you just sort of go in and you leave all melancholy and you think a lot and all that stuff. And I'm not above thinking, but I like to be entertained and not put to sleep or depressed. So not everything has to be fucking Requiem for a Dream either. So it's okay. Guardians of the Galaxy was funny. They took Dave Bautista, the Drax the Destroyer character, and changed him up a little bit. They made him funny, but that's fine. Funny's good for you. It's good to laugh. Anyway, thanks again for listening. It's been on the road a lot, and I wouldn't be able to do it and keep going as hard as I go and traveling as hard as I travel without Azoth. So thanks, Pratty, from Seeking Azoth. That's Seeking Azoth, AZOTH.com. And Azoth is a nootropic. It's basically like whey protein or creatine for your brain. It's a supplement that helps with cognitive function. It helps with memory. I have to remember the word memory, so I definitely need it, and it gives you a nice boost of energy. So it helps you get your stuff done, helps you perform when you need to perform, and it's caffeine free, but it's definitely not stimulant free. So it'll wake you up and keep you going all day long. So if you like that first cup of coffee feeling in the morning, think about that times about 2. Starbucks ain't got nothing on this stuff. Azoth, seekingazoth.com. Promo code Cronin will get you 15% off, and you'll be smarter, you'll be faster, you'll have your shit together, you'll be in gear, and you'll be ready to perform. Go out there on the road, hanging out with world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. Come on. This is fun. This is good stuff. I'm out. What do I do right now? I make friends and I learn. That's my purpose right now, and I spread that positivity to you guys out there, making sure you know that if you want to be something, you want to do something, go do it. Like Gary Vee says, double down on the things you love, the things you're passionate about, and the things you're good at, right? And dump the other stuff. So I love jiu-jitsu. I love making friends. I love learning. And I'm out there doing that. I want to learn from the best. I want to find new ways to get my ass kicked so it doesn't happen twice. So Long Beach today, who knows where next? Eric Medina, LA Jiu Jitsu Club. It's an awesome bed and breakfast jiu-jitsu type thing. He'll tell you more about it, and you can check him out on EBI on Fight Pass and his match against Barrett Yoshida from the card that was down in Mexico here recently. So anyway, Clint Cronin Show, episode 43, Eric Medina, LA Jiu Jitsu Club, Long Beach, California. I love you guys. If you like what I'm doing, please share, subscribe, pass it on to a friend, tell a friend, and maybe another friend, and have them tell a friend. Then we'll all be friends, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make friends and learn stuff, and hopefully I can rub some of that off on you guys. Be positive, stay safe, and don't forget to be nice to each other. All right, lots of love. Thanks again. All right, episode number 43. I'm at the Los Angeles Jiu Jitsu Club. Got Eric and Joey up in the house. Well, I'm up in their house. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going very well. It's been a nice hot day today. We're 1 day removed from Worlds, and I guess half a day removed from you guys driving all over the place after Worlds. What's been up, guys? How's the weekend been?
It's been a busy weekend. Competed at Worlds on Saturday, brown belt light feather division. And then the next day on Sunday, we drove up to Fresno and had our second tournament ever, the Fresno Open. And that was a long day too. So 10 hours in the car the last couple of days.
Yeah, no stranger to road trips. So I can definitely feel you on that. So I guess as you were coming up to, halfway to NorCal, like Central California for Fresno, I probably passed you in the breeze on the way to Worlds, man. So how was it? How was it competing? I know I was there when you got your brown belt just a few months ago, man. So you're out there at Worlds already. So how'd it go? What was the experience like?
It was good. This was my first tournament as in the gi at brown belt. I felt good. The body was good. Weight was good. Mine was sharp. I had my first match. It was a close match for the duration, and then I think about the 6-minute mark, I was able to pull ahead, pass the guard, and locked up a almost like a Bravo choke, and he ended up giving me mount, and from there I snuck an Ezekiel choke and got the tap, and then that was cool. We were happy about that, and then they did some type of medal award ceremony in the middle. So where Leander Lowe got his $15,000, Mackenzie Dern got some money. They started awarding all these people, and then this was when they did the medals for, I guess, the guys that popped on the steroid tests. They rewarded the guys who got their medals again. So then I didn't fight again for like another 3 hours. So I was like in the bullpen. I was trying to take a nap. I was just trying to stay like ready, and I would get up, and then I'd see like my match got moved like another half hour. I'm like, dang, like. So I was like playing that game. Ended up having my second match, and then the guy was good. He was from Nova União. He ended up winning everything. He was and he smoked me, dude. He took me out pretty good. He was styling on me. He racked up a ton of points, and then he finished me. Oh. Whatever. Okay.
First one, I mean, just seeing the level between brown and black belt, even though the purple belts now, it's crazy. Leandro Lowe lost to a brown belt, a guy that was a brown belt no less than 10 months ago in his first year as a black belt. He goes out and he doesn't just win worlds, he doesn't win Masters worlds. I'm rolling my eyes out like I'm not going to compete at Masters world or something, but he wins worlds against Leandro Lowe, and it wasn't down to an advantage or whatever. I mean, like, he swept him and held him there, and he was able to control him. He was able to control the top, and so seeing the level just raise just year after year consistently, it's like, yeah, you lost the final match, or a semifinal at Worlds, and then the guy goes on to win everything. That guy could be, going up against, Kyotera or something next year and beating him. So seeing that. The progress, it's not surprising at all. Like, there's purple belts out there. They're just killers now, man. Hell, you were a purple belt competing at EBI with Barrett Yoshida. So, and you took it right down to the wire with that guy who's like obviously a legend. So it's like the level's clearly just chasing every year.
We're trying, it's a lofty goal, but we're trying to be up there too. Like all we could do is train, and we train hard. We train smart.
Yeah, you've basically retrofitted the largest room in the house, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
so
you're
it's our living room. Yeah, it's our living room.
Yeah, so this is LA Jiu Jitsu Club. This is basically AirBNB meets mat surfing meets Jiu Jitsu Academy in a house in the suburbs of LA. So you guys, how did you guys meet? Like, how long has this thing been going on? What's the origin story of LA Jiu Jitsu Club?
It's actually, we're almost exactly at 2 years.
Okay.
So about 2 years ago, a little bit more than that, we were starting to get more and more involved with jiu-jitsu. It's becoming more and more of our life.
Try to get a little closer.
My bad. We both just competed in our second EBIs, and we started making events. We had just recently done one at the beach. And I remember Eric coming to my room. He's like, I got this idea. We're going to make, you basically just like said it, like we're going to make as like an Airbnb for jiu-jitsu people. And then kind of like once the idea was set and we decided on doing it, things started coming into play. All the mats that you see around us here, they all came from 10th Planet Rain. As that gym was closing, they were selling all these mats for super cheap. So like that was a thing we saw, and we basically made sure that it happened. I borrowed my mom's van. We stuck 1 million mats in there, and
we spent all our money. We spent like everything penny we had.
Yeah.
We bought just enough mats. We measured everything out perfectly. We had all our friends come help out and like set everything up, and boom, we were operational.
And so we started getting the stuff in here. So our official move-in date was June 1st of 2015. However, before we moved in, we're setting things up. And just little things that kind of happened that really kicked us off. One of the first things was Richie Boogeyman Martinez hit us up and was like wanted to crash at our place because we lived in Tarzana, right next to Jean Jacques Academy. That was our apartment. So he hits us up like, hey, is it cool if I stay at your place? I'm in LA. And we're like, yeah, but we're not at the apartment anymore. We're actually at this house. So he comes to the house. He sees everything. He showed up like at 10 at night. And we're like, dude, do you want to do a seminar tomorrow morning? He's like, yeah. And so within 12 hours notice, we find out Boogie's coming to our house, and we set up our first seminar for the very next day. Then a couple days after that, Gary Tonin was in town, and he was supposed to have a hotel and a seminar that set up for him. Both things fell through.
Wow.
Gary's manager, Jeffrey Chu, hits Eric up because Eric works with the Hotel Palomar, seeing if he can get a hotel. And Eric's like, no, fuck that. Like, we're gonna have him stay at the house. And if he wants, he can do a seminar. And then he's like, oh, well, we actually had a seminar fall through. So Gary Tonin came in, stayed with us, and we had a 2-day seminar with him. We had a Saturday, Sunday thing. And this is all before we even our official June 1st move-in date. This was like the very end of May. All this happens.
So these were like kind of doorbuster deals. Like, how were you able to get across to the the people coming to the seminars? How were you able to invite people? Just get on social media? Or just...
We made flyers. With the Boogeyman one, we just put it out there. I think we just put it on Facebook of, hey, we're doing a seminar tomorrow. Boogie's going to be here, and people showed up.
Wow.
And with Gary Tonin, we had a little bit more time, but not like we had maybe like 4 days. We had like, how the jiu-jitsu community is. We know everybody has a skill set in something. We had a friend make us badass flyers. We post them about, and they sold out like the day of. Wow. The day of both days. Because we made it cheap. I think it was like a $50 seminar. It was either $50 and then like $75 if you wanted to do both days. So within a day, like we got everyone that we can fit in the house.
And we were talking earlier, you're saying you're getting upwards of like, 25 people in just for a class in this place. Like how many people for a seminar are you able to stuff in here?
Geez, sometimes I think 40 is the max.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you set up our Dolomers in the living room.
Okay.
And then it's World War III. Sometimes we'll do it even outside too. Just we'll clear everything out of the deck and then we'll lay the mats down and we'll train outside as well. But man, that's like capacity right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do the neighbors, honestly, I can't imagine neighbors complaining. It's not like you're blasting music here. Like you have like the most chill ambient music playing and
Some reggae going on. No one's complaining.
We definitely have to be respectful to the neighbors. I mean, they're actually very cool, very sweet people around here. We do our part to like not park in anybody's spots or anything like that. Everybody coming to the house is really quiet, really cool, especially since we do early morning training here, 8 a.m. Nobody wants to be woken up early on the weekend either. So, but you're right. Like we're not blasting music. We're not like up to no good. And every once in a while too, like somebody like from down the street will come up and like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, you guys have mats at the house.
Yeah.
It's really common for people who are coming in here to try to like sell us like get your house bug sprayed. Do you want solar panels? Do you want like any door-to-door salesman when they come inside like, oh shoot, like you guys train jiu-jitsu here? Like whatever they try to sell. So like, yeah, do you want to come train jiu-jitsu? Like, yeah.
That's a staple of Eric's. If someone tries to sell us something, he'll bring them inside the house and then
try to sell them jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to. It's like this, it sells itself. I mean, you have these bright blue mats in the living room. It's like somebody peeks in. It's got to be funny if somebody is like thinking about coming and robbing you guys and they peek their head in the window. They're like looking for a big screen or they're looking, you're like, oh, maybe there's jewelry in there. They look in and see mats. You're like, no, that's Fight Club. I'm out. It's a terrible idea. I'm not robbing those guys.
So like Joey said, like these mats are from Rain Training Center. So that's Mark Munoz's old school. So Mark Munoz, Leota Machida, Anderson Silva, they've all trained on these mats.
Nice.
So we got like,
good juju coming from them.
Definitely.
Exactly. You got Spider Mat over here. Munoz right over there. These are really nice zebra mats too. They're not just like some random sort of junk. I mean, they're comfortable.
We got, when this came together, like so many things came together at once to allow this to happen. And we've just been off to the races since.
Yeah. Like having customers and like kind of really high level jiu-jitsu practitioners come and teach in seminars before you're even open is probably it's probably a good sign that you have like a really good idea off to the races. Like I know what is it, Christian Graugert, the BJJ Globetrotter guy, they have have you seen them? They have like mat surfing, but it's a different thing. Like you're not, because when you come here, it's for sure that people have been here before. Like you can go online and read reviews and stuff. It's like it's a pretty established thing, but I feel like mat surfing is cool, but like there are creepy people and like out there sometimes. Like I don't know if I'd want to go to just a random house, but I like the concept. But like just knowing that this place has everything, you're not just going to go to some random gym. Like I like the idea that you can just come and it's like it's a solid bed as opposed to like kind of just a random person's house.
I think the fact that like we have people who are come consistently. I know for Worlds, like we've had people come and rent out the whole house. And then that's always really fun to have like a team stay here, get their training in and like, have that camaraderie. If somebody's got like a big fight, they come and rent out this. So it's just, it's built up over time. And, same thing. Like I really wouldn't really trust anything that hasn't been around for a little bit, but, thankfully we have, and it's really become a fun spot. And for us, it's like our laboratory for where we get to work on our technique, and so many killer roles and monsters come through, and like we have no choice but to get a little better from all this.
Oh, for sure. You're exposed to jiu-jitsu like at the level the Gracies were as kids, right? The mats are right here, and at any given time, like whether you like it or not, there's going to be some, monster, like you said, or like everything from the brand new white belts to like world killers just rolling through here because it exists. And, a lot of people want to go to LA, go to San Diego and train, but, it's a whole thing. Like I want, as a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, everything, I always wanted to do an LA trip just to come train down here. I'd been all over the damn world training, but I just hadn't really trained in LA. And I'm like, where would you stay? And I was like trying to go on Google Maps and be like, this academy's here and this one's over here. That's 30 miles, but like that could be 3 hours in traffic.
Yeah.
Like, as you saw today, right? I'm like, I was expecting to be here too. And like, I hate being late. Like, but when traffic does its thing, it just, you're stuck, right?
And it's LA. That happens. Yeah.
So, and you guys are in pretty good proximity. Like, you're really close to Jean Jacques, right?
Yeah, that's the home academy. I mean, Joe touched on it before. We used to live like right behind the academy, where it was like a 5-minute walk. Granted, we were still always late, but we were that close, you know. So I mean, and I've also read like too, like if you don't live close to your academy, like the odds are you won't make it to training or something like that too. Like so, we have the mats like right outside of our bedroom. Like we better be training, you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And as far as like proximity to other gyms and everything, there was one set of guys who stayed here from Peru, and it was like on Monday they came to Jean Jacques and saw him. On Tuesday they went to 10th Planet HQ and saw Eddie, and then Wednesday, this was back when Hickson was still teaching the Wednesday class at Crohn's Academy. Okay. So they were staying with us, and from Peru they come here and they get to see Jean Jacques Machado, Eddie Bravo, and Hickson Gracie, and they train with all of them. Mm-hmm. It's such a cool thing to be where we're at.
We've had people from Peru, New Zealand, China, Australia, just a crazy amount of like world travelers stay with us, and it's been really awesome.
It's the coolest idea. I mean, this could easily be something that's in every major like jiu-jitsu city. Like you could have satellites of these anywhere, and like the concept's it's perfect. I mean, it works a little bit better in LA because it's LA.
Yeah, because you can see Jean Jacques, Eddie Bravo, and Hickson Gracie within a week.
It's like Brazil without the crime or whatever.
Yeah, but with the traffic.
Yeah.
You had to be ready for that.
Yeah, well, at least you have highways here. Like I've been in some cities in Brazil where like you're driving through town for most of it with like 2 million people living there. Like in Brasilia and Goiânia especially. I used to go there like a month out of the year. And just getting from home to training took so long because there would be no highway to go. You just could be going through city streets and dealing with little motorcycles and just crazy like the lines on the street and signs and lights and stuff. In some places they're just like rough guidelines. They don't really care about those lines. Like they're just weaving through stuff. Yeah. Like I don't know how there's not more accidents, but yeah, the LA traffic's a thing. Being close to Hickson Gracie, Jean Jacques Machado, and Eddie Bravo is probably not a bad selling point.
You also got Legacy Jiu-Jitsu with Alberto Crane right down the street, Hamla Bahal in Northridge, Streets Worth Simi Valley right up the way, Bass Rutin's place. Like, we're centrally located to all these places that people come out to visit.
Alberto's over here. What's
Legacy in Burbank? Yeah.
We're really close to Burbank here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a little bit northeast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm remembering it from like the Waze part because I keep wanting to stop over there anyway.
But it's like 20, 25 minutes away from here.
He's a guy I definitely want to meet at some point and learn and get my ass kicked from. And the same thing, man. Like that's my gig now. I travel around, I learn and make friends. It's like I figured that sounds like a good enough job as any. So,
there you go.
Right? Like what else would you want to do? Like that was my favorite part of traveling for work, just being in IT. Like I'd be in London or Singapore or Brazil or whatever, and I'd have my gi with me and I'd be in a hotel room. And like when you're in a lot of hotel rooms and a lot of like business travel, you just start talking to fucking waiters and shit. You're just like, hey, well, you just start shooting the shit because you're bored. Like it's just work. And so I used to go to Hadra Gracie's when I was in London. I'd go to work. I'd walk up from the hotel because I don't get why so many people use those fucking tubes that live in London. Like I walked everywhere. It's I guess if they live outside of London, it's one thing is the price, but I would literally like walk to work. As soon as work was over, I'd walk to the Hadra Gracie's, grab sushi, then go back to the hotel and figure out a way to wash my gi in the bathtub. That was a white belt mistake. I broke some shit, but it was the part that I really liked doing was like the making friends and going and training and learning stuff.
Yeah. Jiu-Jitsu is like a really kind of like an open, community. It's really easy to meet people and talk to people, and then if you reciprocate like that, you keep it going. And we've been shown tremendous hospitality and respect and love, and so we just keep it. We pay it forward.
Isn't it crazy how many, like, think of all of the logos on the wall in here, what I do, what you're doing here, like all of this stuff started, just with the UFC popping up really, and before that just jiu-jitsu in Brazil, like very niche, very specific things, and like the chain of events that had to happen for like all of these industries and little, you know, sub industries to pop up. For sure, it's really crazy, like that sort of butterfly effect that made all of this possible. Like
the ripple, like everything.
Yeah,
thank you, Hauss Gracie, for winning UFC 1, making our whole lives a little more interesting.
It's so cool. Like one of the coolest people I've talked to so far was, and he's not in the UFC Hall of Fame, but he came up with it, was Art Davie, like the guy that showed up and like pitched Horian so at the Gracie Academy when they were still doing it out of the garage or whatever. It was a salesman. He was ex-military guy, and he went over and he pitched the UFC. He wanted to call it like the world's best fighter competition, and he goes in and he basically, if you haven't heard the story already, he comes up to Horian, and Big John McCarthy's there at the time. Like, this is old school before first UFC, and he's like, well, let's sell those black bills, because he was at the time Horian was selling these DVD or videotapes, VHS of, you know, Gracie in action, you know, the ones on the beach we were talking about earlier.
Hickson slapping a dude and beating the shit out of him.
Those videos were sold through Black Belt magazine back in the day, like the same one that's out now.
Damn, yeah.
And it was all done by mail, and like he was making some money on them, but do you guys remember like BMG Music, or like where you like pay a penny and get like 10 CDs?
12 CDs, something like that, yeah.
So Art Davie was selling those mail order things, like he was basically doing that, and then he was doing it for Discover Card as well, like these like mail away flyer type deals, like direct mail campaigns. And he's like, well, we'll do that with your VHS tapes. And he's like, fine. He's like, don't worry about it. You just pay for the materials. It's no commission, nothing. It's on me. So Horian's like, fine, whatever, do it. And, you know, he made him like 150 grand within like very short. He's like, okay, what do we do next? And he's like, okay, well, we're doing this world's best fighter thing. They flew out to Colorado, figured out you can get a bare knuckle boxing license. Like, you could actually get a bare knuckle and like an LLC with only $10,000 personal liability on it. So like, that's why it was in Denver, the first.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so they went and they found Hauss, they found Ken Shamrock, and apparently to the curtain call, when Ken Shamrock was about to walk through the curtain, he's still asking Art Davie, he's like, so is this real, or is this a work, or is it a shoot? Is it real or fake? He still wasn't convinced. He's like, because I know these guys over here, Pat Smith, all these other guys. He's like, but the kid in pajamas, like, come on.
Yeah.
And that was Hauss Gracie, who went on to eventually build
built the LA Jiu Jitsu Club.
We're here because of, you know, there's the kid in pajamas, right? And it's crazy. Like, I think he was telling me, like, at the time, Henner Gracie's like running around, like, and like even back then he had the marketing. He had all these questions about like, how does this work? How does that work? It's like, like 11 years old or whatever, crazy. Running around asking all these questions about like how all this stuff works in Art Davie's office, and like just seeing how it's amazing. Like, every year there's more and more things. Like, one of your teammates, the thing for the finger, right?
Neil's like finger grip,
grip tap, he just sent me one of those the other day. I'm like, this exists, and like, how many other just random things are there, like the stupid t-shirts and the.
But that's also a cool thing, that all of my clothes that I own, shout out to Nuaza Apparel right here, they're friends. They're like, I don't go to Nordstrom or wherever the fuck and buy these $25 t-shirts that like, you know, give somebody else that I've never met money. Like, this is all to my friends, or my friends give me t-shirts. And so it's like this awesome community-based thing where it's either I'm giving my friends money, or my friends are just giving me a cool t-shirt or a cool toy to play with. And like, that's how we do business amongst like our friends. And it's a beautiful thing that we get to do.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, I'm at the pyramid yesterday over at CSU Long Beach, and between Bushesh's matches, he's like, walks over, he's like, oh, hey man, like walks like halfway across the hallway to come by, shake my hand, give me a hug, and then like goes out and wins the world title. I'm like, because jiu-jitsu. I'm like, because jiu-jitsu. I'm like, this guy, like, that he's this successful and like even takes the time to give a shit about just somebody he's only met a couple times. It's like, well, first of all, fucking, he's an awesome person. Like, he's a great dude, but like, just showing like that jiu-jitsu's like this it's like a big sort of connected family
community, and it's it's like essential for just general human happiness. And I think like that's what we have it. And it's like whenever I just see someone who doesn't have a thing, whether it be like because it's got the physical outlet. There's so much that just provides to just your general human welfare and happiness. And I think community is a huge part of it, where we do our events and people who just show up that we maybe just met that day. If we do one at the beach, maybe like they'll just pick up a broom and they'll start sweeping. It's just, we're all connected in it. We're all here for the same purpose. And you don't need, it's not like, well, what do I get out of it? It's community based.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm old school like that. When I'm not on the road doing these, I really don't leave the vicinity of where I live. I live 0.1 or under miles from my gym. I can see it from where I live.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's deliberate.
Yeah.
I saw a for rent sign at the house when I was on my way between work and the gym, and they're pounding into the ground. They're struggling. I see them as I'm sitting in traffic, and I'm like, nah, don't bother. I'm like, is this available? Yeah. Okay. I'll take it. Do you want to see the inside? I'm like, is there an inside? They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, we're good. I had no idea what it looked like. And I came back and I saw my ex. I was like, hey, we're moving. She's like, oh, where are we going? I'm like, it's like 2 miles that way. She's like, it's right by your gym, isn't it? I was like, it's right exactly by there. Yeah. And like, I've been there for probably like 8 years now or something.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a place where I get coffee over here. It's right next to the gym. There's a 24-hour fatness right next door in case you want to get a shower. It's good. Got the comic book store right behind me.
Well, you're set. That's it.
I don't have to like really do anything else.
Yeah, you got your little circle that you got.
And I know everyone. And like even we'll have like a bunch of people over because the whole team will want to come over and watch the UFC or EBI or Metamoros if that's still a thing.
It's not.
Okay.
Metathorus now.
Okay. Oh, is that what
No, that's Metathorus is our buddy Thor who makes untrained men go against trained women in his gym. It creates a spectacle.
They live stream it, but it's cool though. I feel it's the same thing that almost what they did for UFC 1 to show how good jiu-jitsu was, where it's like, all right, we're gonna bring the skinny dude out against these jacked guys that train in this other martial art. It's like the same concept, but we're going to take these girls who train jiu-jitsu against dudes like, because they were like dudes that weighed between 180 to up to 300 pounds. Dude. All of them were athletes to some kind of caliber. And 2 of the girls ended up tapping the guys out, and the only ones that didn't were our friend Bree, who went against a 300-pound football player.
She was like 120.
Yeah. Oh. But she held her own, and he was getting exhausted. Where if it was no time limit, she would have won. And same thing with the other girl. It was just that she was outweighed by 100 pounds, this other girl. And so it's like to that same concept of like, this is what jiu-jitsu like does for you. It gives you the superpower where you can hold your own against anybody who doesn't train.
So where do they? It's called Metathorus. Like, where can this be seen? How does this happen?
I actually think it's top secret. You have to watch it. They live streamed it.
Okay.
We got to go to the event, but I don't think we're supposed to say
we have a lot of wacky friends that do like craziness. Like, if you think putting mats in your house and like opening it up to the public is crazy, like that's like the bare surface of like what everybody does in our little circle.
Yeah, it's LA, man. Like anywhere you go, if you take an Uber, like you're either going to be sold vitamins or like most of them have a script. Like they're trying to sell you like a movie or tell you about their screenplay they're working on. Like you take an Uber in this area, like you have to be ready because you're gonna be pitched. Yeah. So like, I'm not surprised.
I've driven for Uber and I always sell people on jiu-jitsu. So
that's perfect. See, that's the next thing you need is like a mobile version of this. Yeah. You like roll up in like what were those things, like a hayride type thing? And have like mats on it. Be like a little hydraulic thing.
We'll come to you.
Exactly. Jiu-jitsu parties. See, like
the idea happened here first. It's ours. You can't take it.
Yes, someone will steal that.
We'll cut you in.
So there we go. Well, it'll be like the ice cream man. It'll be Jiu-Jitsu man comes and fucking hayride with a bunch of zebra mats on it. Fucking Gary Tonin and shit with a straw hat.
It's retirement.
Exactly. The tour. It's the tour. Man, he's out there like on all the nogi circuit right now, huh? This guy's
He's a killer. He's a killer for
that
sure.
Whole Death Squad is.
Oh god, yeah. They're scary over there, man. Like,
but what I love about them is that they talk the talk and then walk the walk. We'll take on anybody, and whoever comes out I've never seen them turn down a fight with anyone.
No, he brings it every time. Like you don't see him out there with the gi tournaments and stuff. But I mean, there's the matches he's working, like they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he has fought, and I know he does train gi. And then I know he fought AJ in the gi at Fight to Win in Huntington Beach, and then that was a crazy one too. That's one where AJ got knee barred to hell. Do you remember that at all? Yeah. That was a crazy one.
That was right after he got kicked off the stage by that other Brazilian guy.
Wagner Rocha.
Yeah, that was funny. I mean, a lot of people complained about it, but like I know, that's AJ's got a mouth on him, man. So it happens at some point. Someone's gonna punch you. Or kick you in the butt.
Kick you in the back. Yeah. Watch Spartan kick you.
Oh, yeah. It's right off the stage. Like, this is Sparta. Boom. Oh, man. So how was the tournament? Like, you guys are back in Fresno. How'd you pick Fresno, and how did it go? What was your experience like doing that?
So Fresno was because we basically we attached ourselves to the USA wrestling tournament that was going on over there. And so we just had our first tournament last week in Orange County. Mm-hmm. And so that was our nice big debut one, which we did at Esperanza High School. And that was just to kind of get our feet wet and ready for Fresno, which we did at the Selin Arena, which was this big thing. It was as a venue, I'd say it was on par with what's going on at Worlds. And that's basically why we chose that Fresno area, that instead of being like every other tournament and doing all of our tournaments in high schools and stuff like that, we want to be the next thing. So the USSGL, we're already in these giant venues doing things where we've got one set for August. It's going to be on the pier right by the USS Midway in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. It's
gonna be a sweet little outdoor event. It's already a wrestling tournament. They bring all the mats out there. And then we're going to bring submission grappling to it.
Because it's our one of our business partners, Blair Green, who works with USA Wrestling. And so that's how we're connected with them. And so, as I said, getting to be a part of these tournaments that are already in these giant venues, or a cool venue like right on the pier by the USS Midway. Exciting. And I feel that's what I want for jiu-jitsu. That's what we want for jiu-jitsu that's what the sport deserves. We need to get out of the high schools and into places where it becomes a really cool thing for the spectators.
Yeah, they've been using the Cow Palace lately for No-Gi Worlds, and there's always a gun show in that building.
Yeah,
so it's a really historic venue for the Bay Area. I mean, like there's been so many big concerts, big sporting events. It was a mainstay for pro wrestling for years and years. So like that they're starting to use that for jiu-jitsu. There was a really good turnout for No-Gi Worlds. I was there
this last No-Gi Worlds, and it was pretty fun. It was cool. It was huge. The Cow Palace is huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It just being able to fill it is the trick. Because for a tournament it's locals really. So for something that big, you'd think, okay, well, the wrestling component, that's one thing, but jiu-jitsu, for the gi anyway, historically it's always been like, okay, it's the friends, family, training partners, and the competitors themselves. Mm-hmm. But then, at least at Worlds yesterday, the turnout was really good. Mm-hmm. It was largely those groups of people I mentioned. That core group,
yeah.
But, with a tournament format and, it's with a world title on the line, like world titles on the line, like, it's great. But I like, Fight to Win Pro, like how they kind of manage, booking the larger name fighters, the larger name athletes, and then they have they're paying them at least. But the turnout, the production value that I've seen, like, in terms of portrayal of jiu-jitsu on like a main stage that like could translate to like a larger audience, I like so far the formula I've seen that I like is EBI mixed in with some aspects of Fight to Win Pro.
I did Fight to Win, and I had a really good time. I liked how you had your own walkout music. There was smoke and mirrors. Another thing I really liked too is as soon as you're done with your match, you walk down that stage, there's a guy right there with the envelope with your money. Like, no questions asked, like, boom, good job, there you go. Yep. And, it's pretty sweet. You bring all your friends and family, you get a cut of the tickets, and then you get to sit down, relax, and enjoy the rest of the night, And then EBI is just on, like, a whole nother level as far as, like, production and...
And I think the real revolutionary thing about it, though, and like we joke about, gi, no gi, points, submission only, but I really do think it is the rule set and how they have it set up. I've told the story before, like at EBI 1, Eric and I competed in that one. So my mom was there to watch that. My mom knows nothing about jiu-jitsu. And I know when I go to Worlds, sometimes it's like, all right, let's time to get out of here. I'm bored with this already. But with EBI, how we had Gary Tonin and Boogie on one side of the bracket, killing everyone to the finals. Then Gio and Jeff Glover on their side of the bracket, killing everyone to the finals. My mom was on the edge of her seat, pumped about these 4 guys that she's never heard of before this day. She's like, these are the guys going against each other. And she was like visibly excited about it. That's where you need to get, is where the spectators that don't really know what it is are, holy shit, look what's going on. I'm pumped about this. And it's the format is really what created it.
Absolutely. So Eddie has come up with a format that has the ability to sort of do character development, built in.
Yes.
It tells a story.
Yeah.
You start to root for these people, and we always say once you beat that person, you take their fans and you continue on, and then at the end of the night, you have these 2 people, and okay, even though we don't know them, we're divided now. I'm cheering for this guy, I'm cheering for that guy. And another cool thing that came out of the EBI is Grace Gundrum. That's our little that's our superstar that stays here. When Grace stays here, her parents come and they rent out the house, and we get to train with Grace, who's a phenom, dude. She's gonna be the next Ronda Rousey. She's gonna be that superstar that is gonna take this to a whole nother level.
And her coaches Zach and JM are the coolest, funniest guys around, and it's just we don't like to say that we have favorite people that stay here, but they're our favorite people that stay here. That whole the whole group of them. It's just such a pleasure anytime they come down. Even if we have things going on, we stop all that and make room for them just because it's such good energy when they're here.
So they rent out the whole place. How many people would be a full house on a book night generally?
It depends, because of if it's different people and all the rooms are taken, then that's one thing. But when it's a team, something like when 10th Planet Bethlehem comes here, we expect maybe Grace, her mom, her sister, Zach and JM, and a couple teammates. But they bring their squad, and we're all right. So we bring beds out here,
mattresses out on the mat.
So we're accommodating to teams and everything like that. So obviously, just let us know how many you'd be bringing. But as I said, it could be 10 to 12 people, as long as it's all one team, though. We don't want to do that if you paid for your room and then someone else is bringing a team. It's now I'm in a crazy house and I wanted a jiu-jitsu honeymoon.
If you got 30 sleeping bags out here, you don't want to rent the other room on the
absolutely
one day.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those 30, then it's fucking perfect. So you could easily just get the whole team out here, just sleeping bags or whatever. If they're dedicated to train, so everybody has broke teammates. There you go. All right, cool.
There's no shortage of those.
Well, if you want a clean place to sleep, the squeegee and the mop's right there. There's a cleaning shit, and then you can put your sleeping bag right over there. Looks like you're cleaning the mats.
Yeah, I was move your beds because of training's at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Be ready.
It's you're gonna get up or you're gonna get ankle locked. You'll wake up as part of training. It's okay, if your opponent's here on his back, hey, wait. All right, sorry, you should have warmed up, man. It's definitely a cool thing. It's unique for sure. So this is year 2.
Exactly, almost.
This is exactly year 2. Is there
season 2?
See, that's what you do, right? So maybe the jiu-jitsu tournament formula. Maybe those HBO specials where they follow around the Foo Fighters or something. You could have it they're in the fighter house or the LA Jiu Jitsu Club, and they're just watching you guys set up the tournament and go to the next town, go to compete. Your last weekend or the week leading up to Worlds, that could have been one of those HBO specials.
That would have been cool
with Fresno in the mix. Yeah,
cool, but man, we're too wacky sometimes. So there's just too much funny stuff that goes on here. And then you'll see our girlfriends yell at us hey, turn on the cameras. We're how come that's enough out of you.
If you're a cameraman and you want to set up a reality show, we'll let you stay here and film us. We just don't want to do it ourselves. That's it.
Our parents will come drop off food and hey, these are our employees, get out of here.
This could be an episode. Remember that was called MTV True Life or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a jiu-jitsu B&B person or whatever. Just documenting fascinating because like a lot of this stuff is, you know, when a movie does well or it doesn't, it's down to like edits or like the tone of it or whatever. Because like there's so many times there's good movies where like you didn't expect it to be good because like what was the movie Seth Rogen was in with the road trip one, the guilt trip or whatever? It was with the famous singer. I was listening to an interview with him the other day. And it was like Barbara Streisand and fucking Seth Rogen.
Oh, really?
And he's like, you would think like with those two people, like, how is that going to be? You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, they didn't like how the movie turned out, but like these are two like awesome people with like crazy ass stories, but like just the way it was shot or like the way it was edited, or like for things to come together, it just didn't come together. Like they just didn't like the movie that much. So like if you just get somebody like following you guys around that like has a good eye for funny or a good eye for whatever, like just fucking two best friends with this. Like, this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, this isn't every one of these houses you go inside. Like, and there's some creepy people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you probably wouldn't want to be in every single living room, but like, this is definitely unique. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, I can see this being on TV.
And we've also incorporated more friends, more personalities.
Yeah, we have like a whole squad and a bunch of, you know, we have really good friends here. We
got Rafa Esparza, a Verbal Tap. Sorry to shoot out another podcast on
I
there.
like his stuff. I see it on, I have him on Facebook, so I see him on Facebook Live sometimes.
Okay.
Like,
probably talking shit. That seems to be his MO.
Yeah, with you on there, I saw him. Yeah, he was talking shit, I think.
And then we got Octavio Villanueva, who probably should be filming us as a reality show, considering he's the camera guy. We have Andrew Murillo, who just moved out of here. He's actually going to be the new head coach at 10th Planet in Marietta. And I mean, that's like our LA Jiu Jitsu Club right there. And then Blair Green in the mix when we do the for the USSGL the tournaments.
So what does it stand for? United States
Submission Grappling League.
Nice, very cool. And is it gi, no gi, like
both? Yeah,
gi, no gi, submission only, and then we have EBI overtime rules as well.
And we like our whole thing is that we have our absolute tournaments that pay money.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. So right now we're at $500, but we're looking to increase that. But you know, if you're trying to make a little coin like in these tournaments, like definitely give us a try. And, you know, these absolutes have been pretty crazy, dude.
And we were sending someone to the finisher sub-only tournament in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for their absolute tournament.
Our absolute champion, Fresno Uber, he's going to be representing us as our USSGL champion.
Yeah, we should probably hook him up with a rash guard that says USSGL on it. We'll make that happen.
You got to get him a belt to come out with, like when Ric Flair showed up with the belt from the other promotion, like representing USSGL. So fucking
with like the medal, like Kurt Angle.
There you go. There you go.
Gold medal in it.
Exactly, the big USSGL. Yeah. Something like over the top. Like,
yeah. Uber, if you're watching, we have a job for you.
We'll be in contact.
See, that's what you want to do, because like whoever the champ is from the other league, if they're like they don't get a medal. And they're not expecting like some dude to show up with some like big obnoxious title belt or like this big like like the alarm clock. Like,
we're gonna send him with like a limo and two strippers and like a little chihuahua. just send him out there like this is our champ.
Be like their champ has a valet. Doesn't make any sense. And that's Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I went there once. I've been there one time, and it was when I was like 11 or 12 years old to see Green Day at the university. It's like the Stabler Arena at somewhere. It was there's some sort of college in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was like in 1994 or some shit.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I've been there one time. That's a random place. Like so there's a 10th Planet out there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really good one. 10th Planet Bethlehem. Those guys are savages. They actually, you know, being in jiu-jitsu for a little bit now, right? Like, you know, I think we're six years in. Our whole, you know, the guys that we were blue belts with, like now we were all purple belts together. Now we're all brown belts together. You know, like we're all leveling up together, and they've opened up a very successful school and have a lot of really good students. And whenever they come down to LA for like either an EBI or EBI qualifier or any of the big events, you know, they always come down, and you know, we always look forward to like getting some good scraps with them too, because they have leveled up as well, you know. So,
and I think they started their academy as blue belts, didn't they?
Yeah, there's some, you know.
So they've been teaching for a long time. They're legit. They've already got one superstar. Actually, what's their Thor's
John
real name?
Blank.
John Blank. That guy's a monster.
super really
Learned
good
some
guy.
stuff.
They just did really well in the I think it's called Sabatario Invitational in Florida.
Okay.
And they're just doing all sorts of crazy nonsense, and we try to keep on par with them too, because we consider those guys our peers. You know, like whatever they're doing, like I'm always cheering on for them too. Jiu-Jitsu is kind of cool, where like essentially, you know, you make these friends, and like instead of you know, like being jealous or wanting to like oh, this is mine, like you want to like, oh, like, you know, there's enough for all of us. Like I want them to do good too, you know, like it's. And I would hope that they want the same for me, you know?
You'd think so. There's certainly there's enough medals to go around. I mean, not you go to Worlds and not everybody isn't competing, and you go to Pan Ams, it's not always the same group.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to have a lot of the same medalists, but it's not. Always, there's enough out there, and especially the other organizations. I know like there's SJJIF now, which is that Hickson's one or?
No, he had his was supposed to be the Global Federation.
Yes.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu Global.
JJGF or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Right? And then there's JJ World League. That's Higgin Machado.
Okay.
And then
I don't know who's behind the.
There's you know, there's room for everybody, I guess.
There's Naga still. There's still Grappler's Quest.
Yeah.
They still exist. Naga's crazy.
Gracie tournaments.
Oh yeah, the Gracie Worlds. Gracie World. That's Rose Gracie. Rose Gracie.
Yes.
Gracie, Javier Vasquez.
I actually saw her at Tony Robbins' event not too long ago. Yeah,
Okay.
I was actually wearing an EBI shirt too, and so I was walking and I see her face and I see her. She's like, "Oh, jiu-jitsu." I'm like, "Yeah." Like we had a cool little conversation.
Nice.
But yeah, it was badass.
Tony Robbins. Those are not that cheap, but they're supposed to be like totally worth it.
Totally worth it. You come away with a lot of good insights, and also just things that you catch within yourself, like little trainings of, like if you're starting to feel down on yourself or whatever, like look at your posture. How are you standing? Because you can change it almost immediately, and it really has helped. Where if I catch myself getting down, like all right, like I need to like get into a peak state, change the posture, change the things I'm saying to myself. And it works just like that. And you learn how to change these things.
Oh, totally. You can totally, your mind can just run away with itself.
Yeah.
Like, and it's easy for one thing to sort of, your inner dialogue to really sort of like start just going downhill.
Yeah. You have to, you know, especially like in, like where you're stuck inside control, and like, oh man, like how did I get here? Why did I do that? Like you got to cut that, like you got to like, or you got to correct yourself real quick, and like that doesn't help you. You know, being negative to yourself, like it doesn't really help you, and we're all guilty of that to some degree. Like, but you know, we're all just trying to be better people at the end of the day.
I probably plagiarized this from one of my first instructors, but I use it all the time still. Like whenever I'm, you know, I tell people like first day, like brand new students, like in the fundamentals class, I'm always like, okay, so we start like Jiu-Jitsu 101, which is basically just mount escape and fucking open the guard, all this stuff, like just real basic. And I'm like, look, you're flat on your back, someone has you mounted, right? You got to breathe. First of all, stop, breathe, assess the situation. How bad is it?
Yeah.
And what can I do to make it just 1% better? And like the most, you know, like we have all these like analogies for jiu-jitsu, like all these like euphemisms, like, you know, just the most difficult situations can be, you know, fixed with just a simple hip movement or something, right?
Yeah.
And I try to like apply those things like more to just regular life,
Absolutely.
just real life stuff. And like, and what I was talking about before, I got my black belt. I didn't just want to be one of those fat old black belts. It's like, oh, I know everything. I don't fucking know everything. I'm literally learning and making friends. That's all I do now.
Yeah.
That's my entire thing. I'm like, well, okay. So if we're telling people when they're on the mat to always keep improving position, like even when you get mount, like you still should be trying to finish, right? Mm-hmm. Not just coasting, not just whatever, stalling, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like that's the same thing. Like I'm always trying to improve position. Like I want to be better than I was yesterday, and you know, hopefully the day after progressively. And I feel like without that mindset, you can get really stuck. Like you said, like your posture, for example, like all of a sudden, like one negative thought, like one like bad look from somebody can turn into this thing that spirals into an entire world of like negative crap you created for yourself. Yeah. And like to get out of that, just like to take a breath, be like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Like what do I need to do? Like, it's like, I don't know. I have like little tools. Like I don't really fight depression necessarily, but like in just getting things done and trying to stay productive and like try to accomplish the goals I want to, like I like to write things down. I like to use my calendar and be like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish this week. So my Sunday and Friday, I go back on Sunday. I'm like, okay, what am I doing next week? Friday, I'm like, okay, how did I do? Like, and then look at things that I didn't accomplish and actually like face them. Like what needs to change?
Yeah.
Like lessons learned. Like I try to have a postmortem. Like I don't care if it happened or it didn't. I want to go through each thing. And if that's 15 minutes with a cup of coffee for both times, like, it's been very valuable for me. And then like using the technology, like I don't like to be on the phone that much, but like we're on the phone that much.
Yeah. We talked about this earlier on in the day. The addiction, the short attention span, you know.
The people with the fidget fucking spinner things and whatever. Like the apps I like to really use are like, I like to use Evernote, and the Notes app's fine, but like I like to use Evernote because I can hashtag, like I'll tag all my notes. I can go back and I'm I have like 2,000 note pages. You could put, you could voice dictate, you can put pictures in there and shit. And then I use calendar, I use reminders a lot. And I just want to make sure I'm like, okay, am I on the ball? Like, cause you learn all this stuff, like kind of in the tech world, like my previous sort of what I was doing for the last fucking 15, 16 years, dealing with project managers, and I used to be annoyed by them. Like, oh, they're always riding your ass for stuff. And I'm like, wait, no, I can use them for this. Like I can use them to empower my own work. And like, I want to learn how they're doing their stuff. Cause they're driving this stuff from start to finish. And it's like the one thing I hate more than anything is like you start something and you don't follow through. Like people that talk, they'll get started with something, get bored, and like they see it as like a mountain. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I can't lift a mountain. Fuck this. And they just bounce, right? As opposed to like, okay, like here's this project. Like what makes up this project? Like what pieces do I need? Forget what I have, what I don't have. Like if I need, you do one thing and like that's your specialty, I don't know shit about it. Well, I need you. Like, how much time do I need from you? Okay, well, how do I get that? Like, and then just going through each piece of it until all of a sudden it's tasks. And they're manageable. And you're like, okay, now let's set dates and resources needed for each one. And all of a sudden you're project managing your life. But what you're doing is like, you're actually taking big fucking life goals and making them manageable things.
Yeah.
And
Tony Robbins calls it his 2 millimeter rule. And he basically brought it to like where he was playing golf and he kept slicing it. It was like 100 meters in the wrong direction. And his golf coach is like, you're almost there. He's like, what are you talking about? It's going so far in the wrong direction. He's like, you're missing it by 2 millimeters. Because you change that 2 millimeters, that's changing it in that. And same thing with life. You're like, man, it's like I'm in such a mountain of debt. I'm this and that. But it's you change 2 millimeters. You do this for 20 minutes a day instead of this other thing that's bringing you down over a week, a month, a year. It's gonna bring it's compound interest on itself. It's gonna create these big differences that, as you said, it's you taking this giant mountain of things and you're just change it by 2 millimeters. And he even like talks about like your posture. 2 millimeters. This is a 2 millimeter movement, but standing like this all day to standing like this all day is going to start changing your thoughts and how you feel about things because of how you feel within your body. Like that changes the thoughts projected. You're feeling good. You're going to start having good thoughts. And if you're having good thoughts, it's all biofeedback.
Yeah, it's also contagious as well. Like we were talking about it earlier with dogs and stuff, like how they have that sense, like that really acute pineal gland or whatever, I don't know what the fuck it is. Where like they know if you're nervous. Yeah. Like a dog knows if you're scared, but like if you're in a room full of people and one nervous guy comes in or one guy comes in, like you can feel there's a fight going to happen without knowing anybody. 100%.
Yeah. You feel the tension. You feel something off. You know?
Yeah. But you don't know the people. This is like, it could be but you still feel the same thing. Like, I feel like a lot of that is we're just really more connected to each other than we realize. 100%. Whatever the protocol is, whatever the connection is, whether it is a pineal gland, whether it is DMT in the fucking in the world or whatever,
the force,
whatever it is, however we're connected. Like maybe we're like Avatar, like the blue people, like everything's connected, even the planet. I don't know. That ain't my job.
But I think it's less complicated than that. I think it goes back to biofeedback because if you're feeling like shit, you're going to be standing like it, and then since we are social creatures and we kind of feed off of each other's thing. When you're around somebody who's happy, you start to feel happy. When you're around someone who's sad all the time, you start to feel sad. And it's these little nuanced little things that we can tell in your facial features and the way you're standing and the way you're talking. And when you're around someone with good energy, I want to be around this person more. And you it's contagious. It's because like we're social creatures. I don't think we don't even need to go like into the ether with it. It's just the little things that you do that we realize as other people. And it's, are you making other people happy? Are you making other people nervous? Are you making other people sad? Like
It could be as basic as that, or or maybe it's the Matrix.
It could be the pineal gland of the Matrix. I don't know.
I know dogs can tell, and either way it works. Like, it's contagious. Like, if someone comes up, they have like a good posture. They're bright. They're like they're open, warm. It's like you want to be around those people.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that the dramatic people, whatever you want to call it. Like, and it sucks because there's enough fucking mental illness out there to where, like, I feel like there is a lot of just fucking put them in the back corner. Like, get rid of that person. They're a bad person because they're crazy. Like I feel like a lot of that stigma with mental illness fucking sucks. And I don't think as people or even the doctors involved know the human brain that well at all. Yeah. So I hate to say it just like that. But yeah, if people have that kind of like closed off, like they're here, those aren't going to be people that you're probably going to be making too many phone calls like, hey, come over and hang out. Yeah. Versus like someone that's like, hey, like that makes you feel better. Yeah. Right. Because like that's like the nature of relationships anyway. Like, yeah, love. It's like, well, people love each other and they also love the way that other person makes them feel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like
the chemical love. Yeah.
Yeah. The chemical love, or just like in general, like, does that person bring you up or do they drag you down? Yeah. Like, what's your life like? Because they're around you. And yeah, those interactions, and that it can be something as simple as just posture and just being like in here. Like, the difference between an extrovert and an introvert is fucking a little bit of attitude, a little bit of effort, and that fucking 20 millimeters or 2 millimeters. Yeah. Right? It's not that much, like that posture difference and then effort, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I heard this a while ago, and it's not mine, but I use it enough to where fine, I stole it, it's mine now. I feel like you can't control most things, but you can control attitude and effort. Yes. And then like your reaction's the thing. Like, what is it, like 20 milliseconds or something like that is a reaction. Anything after that's deliberate. So like you can't control.
I like that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Boom.
I've never heard that, but okay. Yeah.
Well, that they use it in the law too, right? Oh. So imagine you just get tuned up, you get attacked, or God forbid somebody gets raped, and then they leave. If you were to pick up your gun and go after that person after they already disengaged, you're a murderer. Uh-huh. Because it wasn't out of fear, it was out of rage.
But in the act, something happens.
Yep. Because once that crime is done, it's over. They disengage and leave. If you pursue them, now it's murder, right? That's the extreme that they take it. Like, if you go get like a concealed carry permit or whatever, like they make sure you fucking know that. Yeah. Because they don't want you going and killing people. Like, they want you to be, you're not supposed to be, drinking and carrying and all this stuff. So like they tell you this stuff about reaction, but like the idea is like no one can control anyone else. It's like you have relationships and stuff where like the girl or the guy will be like very possessive, like very controlling. There's no actual control. It's just an idea. Yeah. Right. And it just winds up breeding just contempt and dishonesty, right? People just wind up lying to each other to fucking pacify them and stuff, which sucks. But it's like, if you know you can't control somebody, then all you can really do is control your own reactions to the thing. So if someone does something bad to you, and if you just react by going, fuck you. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. What do they say? Uh-huh. It's like, hold on, process the situation. Like, think for a second, like take that breath and like, how do you respond to it? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying get walked on. Yeah. But at the same time, like this person did this to me. It's okay. Well, what did you do? Well, I did blah, blah. Okay. Well, then there. Because you reacted to that situation very poorly. Like, someone at some point needs to be an adult. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like between the 20 millisecond reaction thing and then attitude and effort, like those things make me ideally be less of a piece of shit.
Yeah. And also when bringing like the law of attraction is a real thing. Now, The Secret made it a little bit woo-woo-y, but it really is a real thing. If you're not going to see like this person who's bright and filled with energy and all their friends are a bunch of fuck faces. It doesn't happen.
If you surround yourself with like 9 knuckleheads, you'll be the 10th.
You'll be the 10th, 100%. And it's and that's like, are you the like when you see these things online of these fights happening, it's always a two-way thing. Sometimes one person seems a little bit crazier, but the person filming it is usually egging it on, and they're creating this back and forth, which is allowing this to happen. But if the person's crazy and you're just like, I'm sorry that you feel this way, and they kind of just walked away and ignored it, there wouldn't be a thing. But the thing is, the people who do that don't film these interactions and put it on World Star Hip Hop. And so like that's kind of why these things that we see on YouTube like happen. That's why they happen, is because it is a two-way street of two people allowing this back and forth to happen.
You ever see like get on YouTube and look for like Jiu Jitsu Street Fight or something.
Yeah.
They're always reasonable. They're always like the one, remember the basketball player guy? Like,
yeah, he's like, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
You don't knock it off.
Yeah.
You had him in the heel hook.
yeah, he's like, you'll never play basketball again. It was a little dramatic.
Yeah.
Like he threw in some Vince McMahon thing in there, but he's like, you'll never fucking play ball, like, whatever he said, like what he said. But he was pretty civilized for, he
was composed. He was, he had been there before. He had, we master our fight or flight in this, when we have our nerves and blah, 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 and we're all freaked out and, okay, ready? Is it time? All right, shake hands. You ready? Like, okay, we're here already. We crossed the threshold, Like, that's what it teaches us, jiu-jitsu.
I feel like it goes both ways. That the guys, like, you ever notice most jiu-jitsu guys that didn't wrestle first, when they go for takedowns, they're like 6 inches short. They're always looking at the floor. Like, I feel like it should be a prerequisite to get hit in the face. Like you have to just get over it. Like, just go through like a couple weeks of actual striking. Like, take a boxing class, get used to getting hit. And like, most guys look at the floor when they go for takedowns and stuff. Like, they're afraid of that contact with their face. Like, I feel like somehow getting desensitized, like getting hit in the face a couple times, should be a prerequisite for jiu-jitsu. It's like wrestlers don't do it. They don't look at the floor when they shoot. But they're like I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, like, they're not used to it. They're afraid of the head contact. It's like, your head's a pretty good weapon, man. Like, if you know how to, like,
use that as a barrier, right through your opponent.
Oh yeah, like I tried driving right through him. It's like, it's an extra limb. It's like I had one of our white belts doing really well, actually. But we were doing these 2-point drills, like takedown drills, and he was just kind of reaching, like doing the Frankenstein. And he's a taller guy, a stronger guy, but he was winding up short on every single one. He was just lunging there was no level change. I'm like, man, you just add this little piece and stop looking at the floor.
Yeah.
And literally the rest of the class after that, he was hitting all his takedowns.
Nice.
Like, it was just this little thing, like the 2 millimeters.
2 millimeters, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you're doing the exact thing you have to, but you have to like literally like change levels just a little bit and then just go forward. And he started hitting singles the whole rest of the class. Like, instead of just like doing this, the zombie or the Frankenstein deal. But yeah, it was just a time. I'm watching him. I'm like, he knows how to do this. He's just like, he's used to being this idea that he's a little bit taller and a little bit stronger than like a lot of people, but it doesn't work because this guy knows how to defend it, because he's just pushing him away. It's like, okay, well, if you just add this little deal, just a little angle, a little level change, like, you're going to finish this stuff. But yeah, he was also looking at the floor, which that's most jiu-jitsu guys in takedowns. They look at the floor and get stuffed and choked. But I don't know. That's my ramble about that, because that's freaking important and stuff.
Knowing takedowns.
Exactly.
Wrestle people.
I like takedowns. I don't like being like, for a while I was like, I'm just going to deadlift more. So like, I just started like doing a lot of powerlifting. I'm like, no, I'm just going to have the strongest sprawl ever. And then I realized that like, your deadlift doesn't pivot. Like, you can like lift the bar as much as you want to, but like, it's not going to turn to the right and then just, So yeah, my sprawl's good now. I hit the 500 club. I'm pretty cool.
Oh, damn.
Happy about that. But you still get taken down if you aren't as good at, like, you still have to be good at wrestling.
It's a technical aspect.
Yeah, it's like, you still have to be good at wrestling. You could like
body movement, not body strength.
It doesn't hurt.
100%. But because you incorporate the movement with that strength. But if you just have the strength and not the movement, it's not gonna.
It wouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
You need like that. There's like this, like, if you think like video games or whatever, like the different like your like little bar, the meters or whatever. It's not just power meter. Like, you need like the speed, strength, and dexterity too. And then lung capacity.
That's the other meter, hidden meter.
It is. That's our chi.
And my meter has like love and money and monster energy, a monster meter just in case.
Backup.
The liquid crack meter. Right? Man, I saw these things. I don't know if they have them here. They have them in places like the outskirts, like Bakersfield and like places in Nevada. You know, the 5-hour energy ones.
Yeah,
they're these one. They're like they're like
6-hour energy.
No, they're Rhino Energy or some shit, but they have ephedrine in them.
Oh shit! Yeah, I thought it was that was outlawed.
That's why you have to find them in like outside of Bakersfield. There's this like on that when you first get to Bakersfield on the 5 from like like the middle of nowhere coming from NorCal. There's this one gas station where you have to like exit and go over when you exit like on a road trip, like, you want to stay on the same side of the freeway.
Yeah. This
one you got to cross over, and I'm like, I had to piss so freaking bad. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. And I went in there and I'm like, I've been here before. This place had all these crazy ass knives, a full blown liquor store in it, like mace, tasers. I'm like, and they had
Rhino
like
energy.
yeah, they had these Rhino Rush energy drinks. I'm like, I know those.
That sounds like a kind of thing that would like a boner energy drink. It almost
No, that's what I thought, but no, they're
no
not,
boners, just
it's-
feeling jacked.
Oh, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. Can you imagine that? Like, you take the wrong pill, you're about to go to jiu-jitsu, and like you just rhinoed up.
Actually, no. The all those 5-hour energy drinks probably would give you good boners. Just throwing because of its what it is it has the niacin. The niacin, which is it's a vasodilator, and so it
Expands your blood vessels.
expands the blood vessels. And what they do is they jack it filled with
You're
vitamin
not supposed to
B12
drink it. You're supposed to pour it on you. That's the
because they put like it's like 2,000% of your need of vitamin B12 with the niacin, so it all kind of rushes in. So I bet like they could kind of sell it as a boner type thing. You're just not really thinking about it.
So I know the vasodilator is a piece of it, but like, what is the actual? Because the Rhino pills are supposed to work because they have the actual prescription Cialis shit in them. They
Shit.
It's called, they call it proprietary blend, and
Yeah.
when the FDA like bans them, they just call it Rhino. That's why there's like Rhino 1, Rhino 2, Rhino 74, whatever.
Is this like the level of like 1 to like 74? Like how?
Because they ban them at the fucking border, and they're like
Okay.
they just rebrand it like, oh, new company, and
Got it.
then they're
Okay.
called some other shit. But yeah, they have their proprietary blend is a
Rhino will be available at the Jiu Jitsu Club.
yeah, it's literally a prescription drug. It's like it's the whatever boner pill. What is it called? Cialis and Viagra. It's that actual shit. The
Never heard of any of these things.
Max or whatever. You never take. You guys never tried one of those things?
No.
Never. Off the record, you never tried one. Okay, so allegedly,
Yeah.
Cannot confirm or deny.
yeah, allegedly, if you take one, you'll be expected to take one again because they very much work.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends that like live by these things, but also like that's part of their budget now.
But that messes you up long term, though, right?
Well, it's like if you're on fucking some steroids or whatever, like where are you psychologically? If you knew for all of this time that when you're on this stuff that you perform a certain way, you take it away. Like,
Yeah.
look at the
I'm not gonna
psychological
perform the same
impact.
way. Yeah.
You're like, I'm not the same guy, and like they're sitting there, snorting dick pills at the fucking gas station, like just one more boner. Like I gotta perform like I did.
We've all been there.
I know, like that's a common thing where you're
We
at
don't
Baker's.
judge here.
Bakersfield truck stop, like snorting boner pills. Like that's how you do it. That's not jujitsu. It's not jujitsu. I don't believe in that. Drugs are bad stuff. No, don't do that.
But sometimes you need a boner. Just
yeah,
throwing
like,
that out there.
it's funny. They say
Shout out to our sponsor, Rhino, Rhino 1 and Rhino 74.
boner pills. What do you call it, dude? Fucking.
But if you pop on a steroid test, Rhino does not have anything to do with it.
you go in the John Jones folder. Yeah. It's like Anderson Silva, John Jones, LA Jiu Jitsu Club.
Goes deep.
Hall of Fame.
Falco.
Oh, dude, the boner pill fucking Rhino Hall of Fame, man. That's terrible. Well, what was the? Oh man, I'm just drawing a complete blank on that stuff, man. But I can't believe Anderson's like he was a pioneer. He came out and like he's like, my friend get the pills from Thailand, and they were for Viagra. I don't know what he said. I'm making it hard, man. I love Anderson Silva.
He has a different Brazilian accent, like a high pitched one. But
I want to thank for my friends for come tonight for Jesus. Like I met him a long time ago, man, and I was at the airport about to go to Sao Paulo, and the terminal next to that, it was in Washington Dulles Airport. He was on the Rio flight, and I'm just. This is when the first iPhone came out. I just got this thing and I didn't know how the fuck to use it. I'm just playing with this, like seeing what it does. I'm like, oh, it's like a bigger Nokia phone. It has like it didn't have any apps at the time. Like there's no fucking app store. And all of a sudden, like there's this large person wearing track pants, like a tracksuit, like standing really close to me. And I look up and I was like, at first I was kind of annoyed. I was like, I just didn't want to be bothered. It was like 11:30 at night. Mm-hmm. And, there's like Anderson Silva with like a tracksuit on, like eating a Big Mac, like asking me in Portuguese, like which flight was Rio and which is Sao Paulo. And I'm like, I didn't realize like what was happening. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's Anderson Silva. He was really friendly. He was super friendly.
Crazy.
He was way bigger than I thought he'd be. And he just walked up to me in an airport. I was like a white belt or a blue belt or something. I was like, Sao Paulo. Rio de Janeiro. Okay. Then he's like, goes back and has like, he had 2 Big Macs and like some fries. And
damn.
Like, yeah. He was eating.
It's a diet of a champion right there.
He was
off season.
This was when he was on Ultimate Fighter, like helping with Team Minotauro.
Okay.
Like it was back in the day.
Dang.
Yeah, like it was like that next season and that next like Christmas because I was going there for Christmas, meeting my ex and their family and stuff, and I guess like he was going home or whatever as well. But yeah, he was really friendly. But like I didn't realize who it was. He's wearing glasses, but then like he opened his mouth. I'm like, Brazilian Michael Jackson. Yeah. That's you, Spider. That's you. Love that guy though. Big fan. But yeah, that sucks that it was boner pills that tarnished his jiu-jitsu or his MMA legacy.
And John Jones. Also, I liked his excuse of because it's just so massive that there's not enough that he can't naturally get enough blood flow there. And as a man who can identify with that same problem, I understand what John Jones is talking about.
You could both have heart problems.
That's true.
In which in which case I'd say that, well, like there's
You
a
just have to work on your posture. that's the problem. Downward dog is your position. You have to let gravity take a hold of it.
man. There's this one like men's health doctor that used to do a radio show on the Howard Stern 101, the Sirius XM thing. His name was like Dr. Harry Fish. It's like it's a real name for a dick doctor. This sounds like an awfully awkward like fucking name, but this is his real name. And he would say like the penis is the barometer or the dipstick for the male body, and like if it ain't working, like because Western medicine,
Yeah, I bet. Right?
Yeah.
because like that's blood flow, right? So that's the circulatory, that's cardiac, right? So if that isn't working, people are like, the TV tells you, okay, go to the doctor and get Viagra. It's like, well, wait a minute. If you already are having some circulatory issue and you go and get that to raise your heart rate because you're going to vasodilator, that's what it does.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, well, I better go get heart pills. Like you're just feeding the meter. Like why aren't doctors being like, look, sir, you're fat.
Yeah.
Like the problem is you need to exercise more. Your cholesterol's terrible. Your diet's bad. You need to go outside. Like you need more oxygen in your blood. Like that's what you need. But they don't. They just try selling you more and more medicine. Like, and you get stuck in this cycle where you're just, they're the new drug dealers. Like,
But if you were my doctor and you're like, you're fat, you need to go outside. I'm like, yeah, but I want my boners to work like right now. Like I need that going on like today. That's what you need. That's what they want.
This is their bodies telling them that they're not supposed to have a boner because they might die.
Yeah,
like a boner could kill them. It's
great. Still need a boner. I still want one.
My boner will kill you. You don't give me mine.
It's misleading though. Your dick lies to you. Like testosterone's a liar. It's like you don't want a boner. You want the part where you don't have one after.
Yeah.
You want that. You want the gratification of having one and then had one, but not having one itself because having one's a burden.
Yeah, totally.
It's some other dude. You're like some other dude's operating you for sure. Like these are all terrible decisions I'm making right now. You know what I mean? Like
we need to get to bed early tonight. We need to do this. Nope. We're going to the strip club. We're going to be here till 5 a.m. We're talking to Candy. I think I can make something happen.
Exactly. It's like we're going clear heels or nothing, bitch. We're piloting this ship. We are running this show, and you have nothing to say about it. Jiu-jitsu, cool. That's pretty gay. We're going to get Candy.
Yeah.
Right? All right, it's fucking. I don't know what time it is, but we should probably. I don't know.
Our boners are taking over our brains right now.
It's time for a rhino break.
Brought to you by Rhino. Oh, and actually, I already plugged them. Did I already? Yeah, I did. I did a little pre-show earlier. I gotta say thank you to sponsors and stuff. So I already did that.
Layer Optics.
We got to say what's up to Layout. I got to say what's up to Azoth. So seekingazoth.com, strongest nootropic in the world. Go get their shit. Seekingazoth.com, coupon code Cronin. You guys got any stuff you want to plug?
Iron Lion Soap, Newaza Apparel, Triangle Kimonos. Hit us up at lajjclub.com. What else is
Sign
there?
up for our tournaments at the ussgl.com. We don't have any going on right this second, but in August we will have one in San Diego ready for you guys to rock. Nuwaza Apparel. Once again, thank you for hooking us up and everything that you
Thanks
do.
for stopping by too. It's been a pleasure, man. We always like having you around. Cool. You came by the academy a little bit ago, but now you got to see the house, and we need to have you stay one time and do some training with us, and show some stuff.
Cool, man. Likewise, it's always a pleasure to be down here. Southern California is like the new Brazil, right? So the jiu-jitsu level is insane. Like you guys have the best instructor in the world, so it's always great to come down and hang out with you guys and get beat up by the elite of the elite. So it's been a pleasure, guys. Joey, Eric, come check them out. LA Jiu Jitsu Club, come stay here, and they'll choke you when you wake up. Episode 43, Clint Cronin Show. Thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, like, do all those stuff.